Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the narcissist being a hypocrite and the narcissist double standards. I want to start to begin with by saying that the video I'm making here is not about Christianity and atheism. I do a lot of internet debate. I am a Christian, Bible-believing Christian. I'm a creationist, and I debate atheists all the time. I want to put a disclaimer that not all atheists are narcissists. That is not true. Granted, many atheists will call Christians stupid online, but I've seen Christians call atheists stupid online. Online debate is its own animal. Everybody calls everybody stupid. Friendships develop. Nobody wants to admit it. That's not what this is about. The guy that my ex narc, the narc that I was hanging out with that I thought was a friend, he was an atheist, but this was not about his beliefs or my theistic beliefs. This was about his need to hurt people. Not all atheists want to hurt people. That's ridiculous. I have several friends who are atheists. They're very polite. They're respectful. We just have a difference of views. We can argue. I'm going to win. I'm joking. That's just my sense of humor. But they don't sit here and go, "You're stupid for what you believe, Yarg." In the case of the atheist that I was hanging out with, the narcissist, excuse me, not the atheist, he happened to be an atheist. Now, I've dealt with narcissists that were atheists and narcissists that were Christians, even though everything, narcissism is antithetical to the Christian worldview. In practice. The difference between an atheist and a Christian narcissist is that the atheist will say, "There's no God. I'm not responsible for my own actions because the universe rearranged some particles in my brain and forced me to do that. I'm not responsible for my own actions." The Christian narcissist will go, "I hurt you because that's what Jesus wants. I feel it in my heart and up my big fat crack. And I've dealt with both. I've dealt with the church monkey, angry Jesus narcs, and I've dealt with the atheist narcs. I mean, narcs come in all shapes. There's narcissistic mothers. Mine isn't. There's narcissistic fathers. There's narcissistic bosses. Oh gosh, I've dealt with that. And these people have no limits in the kind of slander they will do. But the thing with the narcissist is that he is a person of double standards. For example, my narcissist would say, "Anyone who believes in Jesus is very stupid. You have to be very stupid to believe some crap like that." "Oh, not you, of course. I would never say that about you, but anyone. You can be real stupid to believe crap like that, Yard." But then he marries a woman who is also a narcissist. She's a Christian narcissist from Oklahoma. And she's really as dumb as a wheelbarrow full of bricks. Because she became his flying monkey against me, but he was hurting me on purpose and saying stuff about me that wasn't true, slandering me, telling people that I hated my own family and that I wanted my mom to die of cancer, which is not true. I love my mom. We have a great relationship. We travel a lot. Well, why would you say something like that? Because the narcissist gets this high off of hurting people because they're crazy. Well, then she writes me and goes, "You don't even love your own family." And we've never even met. She didn't even know me. She didn't know the name of my parents. She doesn't know my brother or my sister. She didn't know anything about me. But when I was like, "How do you know that I'm this horrible person?" "Well, the Holy Spirit told it to me in my butt crack." So you have narcissists in all shapes. And what you have here is an atheist narcissist marrying a Christian narcissist. But the double standard is when he says, "Anyone who believes in your Jesus and the stupid God on his silly effing cross, stupid, uneducated, illiterate, delusional, irrational, doesn't understand the scientific method. And I, the great captain, will have too good to hang out with anyone like that, you inferior bang." But then he marries this girl who's, as smart as mud, goes, "I don't need me no brains." In fact, she writes me and goes, "The reason you have all that knowledge and reading and writings, because you hate Jesus. Because if you had loved Jesus, you'd be stupid and have love in your heart and you wouldn't need all them brains." And then the moron gets in my school records, as I've said, breaks into my files because she worked for the university. And I'm like, "No, the Holy Spirit told me to do it." I don't think so. You people are wrong. But anyway, he's a double standard because he claims that anybody that, loves Jesus are stupid and inferior and he won't hang out with them. Then he marries a church monkey who is also a narcissist, who her double standard is, "You're an unloving person. You're angry and you ain't got no love in your heart. But by the way, I think you're going to go to hell. And when Jesus throws you into hell, he's going to laugh at you. And I'm going to laugh at you too. You just don't know love." And I'm like, yeah, because that's such a loving spirit. So narcissists, they have all these lofty standards for people, but they can't live to their own. And not only that, I see the narcissist mom on Facebook posting stuff about Jesus and Jesus, which is fine, but does he call his own mom stupid and inferior? No, no, no. So if he's saying anybody, stupid and inferior, it's an underhanded jab. I must hurt you, Ryan. You must punish you. You must pay the price, you stupid, inferior, religious crapbug named Ryan Kibanitis Yard. But then, and I'm very well educated, by the way, philosophy, the history of science, ancient history, American history, holds certifications left and right. This guy works on an oil rig, good money, but, he dropped out of school several times and said, well, he was too smart and superior for all those professors. They couldn't understand his brilliance. Hardly. Go to MIT, princess. No, he's not going to do that. He just hangs out with a bunch of hillbillies and says, see how smart I am? And these backwoods guys are like, you're real smart. So he gets his narcissistic supply without having to have any real challenge. The other hypocritical thing is that his pet monkey, and by that I mean his wife, tells me that I'm a coward because I used I created an alias on Facebook because it was funny. I had a picture of an owl. I could debate atheists all day long, and then they would get mad at supposedly a God that didn't exist, and they were getting all pissed off at this owl with a fake name. Now that's funny. That's pretty funny. So I did for comic relief. It was funny. And she's like, you're a coward. You're just hiding behind that owl because you're a coward. And I was like, hey man, why don't you bring your husband to debate me? Because he's like, I'm such an intellectual. But I've challenged him several times to debate me in front of a church, to debate me in front of a university. Do you think he'll do that? No. Instead, he'd rather go to Silver Dollar City and go to some, Branson backwards, glass-blowing, hillbilly antique show, and say, look how superior and scientific I am. And so everybody will be impressed. He's after the attention. He will never go to Oxford. He will never go to Princeton. He will never stand up in the halls of, intellectual giants and prove how superior he is, because they are going to know he's full of crap. And yes, he convinced his wife, the dumb hillbilly, who's as narcissistic as he is, and just as stupid. In fact, I saw a quote the other day that was cool. It was like, narcissists love to call people, make fun of people's lack of intellect, but it's just a ruse to cover up their own stupidity. This guy just didn't know much about anything. He says he's a great scientist because he used to say like Carl Sagan and Isaac Asimov, right? But since less and less people these days know who those guys are, some people have heard of Carl Sagan. Now it's Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory. And I'd see his post. He blocked me on Facebook, but I was able to see it through her friends. Because he had, you don't add my friends, moron, because I'm just going to have access to your stuff. Where he's posting going, I'm a great scientist like Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory. He is like me, and I am like him. Yes, we are the same guy. The Big Bang Theory. That's his idea of science and the scientific method, is watching fictional TV shows with actors and going, I am like that, and you are like me. But anyway, I won't hang out with any of these dumb Christians. They're uneducated, so then I get more education than it is. Just, it's obscene what I've learned. But they're not smart enough, but then he'll go to Hillbilly Deluxe and pick 'em up trucks and marry, Miss Dog Patch USA from backwoods, manure cow farm. And then he's like, yeah, that's really the scientific method. And the last I saw him, he wasn't doing anything intellectual at all. In fact, he's given it up. Not that he was ever an intellectual before. He was he called me a charlatan, but in fact, he's the fraud. Last I saw him, I saw pictures where he dressed up in a Santa Claus suit, and he looked terrible. He looked like he was intoxicated, like one of those, drunken mall Santas that reek of alcohol with the crazy eyes that you don't want your kids around. He was dressing in drag, but it was internet digital makeup, and he looked like a transvestite. He's making silly faces and using Snapchat filters, and I'm thinking, and this is his idea of science or the scientific method. So yeah, it's all a ruse. It's all a farce. It's just, it's just all a double standard. You will uphold the lofty standards I set. I won't hang out with anyone that doesn't have 3 PhDs in astrophysics, like Carl Sagan and Isaac Asimov. The time he's doing that, he was shoveling goat crap in a petting zoo. Now, I'll give him kudos. At least he's moved up in the world with a better job. But I think he's blowing all of his money on stuff like 50 sailboats. Who needs 50 sailboats? Which, might have said, doesn't ever take him out to sea. He'll say, I'm a great sea captain with many great sea adventures. It's not true. It's never been. I was there when he'd get his little boat, he'd park it by the dock, he'd take it out, do a couple circles, pour more alcohol down his throat till he gets drunk, and then he'll fall over and urinate on himself and go, see what a great sea adventurer I am. And even his wife writes to me and goes, you're an angry person because you don't understand all the sea adventures he's been on. I was there. It didn't happen. But in her mind, it doesn't matter whether it happened or not because he has to believe it here and she's got to believe it because she's that desperate and dumb that she has, I believe whatever he says, even if I know it's not true. It's got to be true because I'm drunk. And it's like, okay, all right, whatever, dude. This isn't science. This isn't intellectualism. But she'll cater to this madness. I didn't understand what he was when I met him. She knew that he ditched his first wife for a Star Trek character. I punished her. She wasn't like Spock, Yard. Well, I wouldn't assume she was, you moron. But anyway, these guys, they have double standards. They're hypocrites. They live in a world that does not exist. And they're just wacky. Looking back on it, because it's funny. It really is funny. But, anyway, see my other videos. I think I've pretty much covered every ground I can possibly think of on these things, whatever these things are. Hypocrites, double standards, every day of your life. Later, guys.